Hello there, it's Dina here, and in this video I want to talk about critical thinking, and especially in these times. And I want you to ask you to test your critical thinking with this little video and to see how open you are. Now, if what I'm about to say, if you agree with that, then of course it will be music to your ears. I'm not accusing, I'm not passing judgment or anything. I am just want to speak my truth, and I just want to open up some insight if someone is in need of that. And I felt called to make this video and to put it out there. It's meant to touch someone. So the other day I posted something to say, ask the question, is this probably one of the most important skills that we can have? And that is critical thinking, questioning things, looking at new ideas about something, accepting that our ideas, our default ideas about something may not be the best way of looking at something. And of course, with that comes inner authority, to trust ourselves, to trust our own authority, our own decision making, and not let it be hijacked by other entities, by other people, especially by mainstream media, by the news, big tech. And I'm very careful about the words that I'm using because I don't want the video to be sort of taken down before it's even seen the light. So the thing is that we have been conditioned not to question. We have been conditioned to accept the things that we hear with authority. If something is said on the news, for example, people, the scientists and the people with authority and the stats, and everybody is very come across very confident, then of course we accept that. We've also been conditioned in this way to give our power away, to let others decide for us. Other people, other entities decide for us. Because we've been conditioned to think that they know better. And we are not that important. Okay? We've been conditioned that we are inferior, unworthy, not good enough. We've been conditioned that we are separate from each other. And we are separate from God, or the universe, or the creator, or infinite intelligence, or what that is to you. We've been conditioned to fear the unknown. And of course, this is where our power lies. And we've been conditioned that we have no power. And therefore, we have been conditioned to fear rejection, to fear not belonging, to fear that, being alone, being abandoned. And so these conditioning of fear is used to manipulate us. And of course, using the principles of persuasion, that we should comply, that we should conform to the community because everybody else is doing it, because that's the right thing to do. And apart from this, the scariest thing is our adaptability, that we are creatures of habit, and that we forget how things were after we are used to the change that we have gone through. So that we forget what that experience was. We forget that what it was like to not wear something on our face all the time. Having to go anywhere have to wear this thing on your face. And now we're used to it. So it's a habit, okay? You can't even remember quite what it was like just to go out without it. And in that way, because of this compliance about that, we become used to our freedoms being stripped away subtly, one by one. The freedom of movement, the freedom of choice, the freedom of speech. And let's talk about that. You know, you can rationalize anything. You can put up a good enough argument for anything. And if it's coming from a source of authority, then why should they lie? But what if they are? What if this is a lie? It's all a lie for a much more sinister and evil agenda that we are sold on and distracted by watching TV, by watching the stats, the new cases, and the new this, and the new that, and this scientist, and this is what's going to happen, and that we don't see what's really happening, that we are numbing ourselves, that we are sticking our heads in the sand and hope it will go away. But what if it doesn't? What if by the time we pull our heads out of the sand, it's all over? Now, what should show up as red flags are the following. It's a one-sided narrative. There's no debate about anything. There's censorship to anything that's contrary to the narrative. Medical professions who before were deemed with high respect are now being ridiculed because they go against the narrative. This mandated, forced shots, whatever you want to call it, against something that is 99.997% proven to be recovered from, that you have natural immunity against. Wearing the thing on your face that has been proven to be ineffective. It doesn't work, doesn't do anything. Thousands dead, hundreds of thousands gotten injuries, the false tests. So, however that may be, there are 5 things I want to ask you. The first thing is to do your own research, to really exercise this brain of yours that you have, to go and look, to go and practice this exercise, this critical thinking ability that you have. There's this organization, greatreject.org. Just go and look at that. Number 2 is don't wear the blue surgical thing on your face. It's got nanoworms in them. They get activated by the steam in your breath to crawl up your nose. Get a cloth one. If you had the thing, and if you've had the test, and both, or either or. Go on YouTube and go and look for pine needle tea. Go and make yourself some. Go and see what the recipes are. It's just pine needles from the tree that you break up and you make a tea. I made some for myself just to sort of taste it. It's vile. I added some honey, which made it quite drinkable. So do that for yourself. It protects your body. It works out the effects of it. And also dandelion tea. There are ideas there for you. If you haven't had it, then don't get it. Because this is not what it is, what they say it is. Okay? Spain has actually proven that it doesn't exist. So it's not what it seems. It's actually changing the very fabric of who you are as a soul. And your antibodies, turning them against you. Okay, so these are the 5 things I want you to do. PCR test, or had the thing to get some pine needle tea. Do your research, see what you can do to help your body. Don't wear that blue thing. It's poison. Do your research. Go and see what else. What is the opposite narrative to what we are hearing all the time and seeing all the time for yourself? So it's actually time for us to claim our divine authority. Because the power that's you, that is in you, that breathes you, is much more powerful than the fear they are evoking. Because it's the fear that is actually the killer in us. And it's for us to realize that our power is much greater than the fear. So it's very important, this is critical, to raise your vibration all the time, to make sure that you feel good, to make sure that you tap into your heart, come back to presence, become aware of your breath and who you are, because that's your natural state. And don't look at the mainstream thing. Don't look at that. It's just false. And that's all I would love to say. I don't know if you watched the video to the end. If you have, if you agree with this, if it's doing something, please share it with someone if you want to, if you can help someone else. And say something in the comments, whether it's just a thumbs up or a GIF or a yes or something. And let's do this together, because we are really at war for us as a race, as a soul race. I love you. Bye for now.